All right, everyone, get ready, because we're diving headfirst into the incredible world of traditional Chinese medicine today. We're talking about those fascinating meridians, the flow of energy, and specifically, by your request, the large intestine meridian.
Always happy to unpack this one. You sent over a ton of info about its 20 acupoints. To be honest, even I was surprised by some of the connections.
Right. I mean, we're talking about points going from your fingertip all the way to your face, and each one has these totally different functions. So maybe we should start with the basics for anyone who's new to. Our first stop is LI1, or Shangyang. That's its name in traditional Chinese medicine. It sits right at the corner of your index fingernail. So what happens when this spot gets all jammed up?
Heat builds up. And in TCM, heat can look like anything from a fever to a really bad sore throat. Stimulating LI1 is like hitting the gas to get that qi moving again and clearing the heat.
No more burning up when you have a cold. And from LI1, we move down the finger to LI2 and 3. These points seem like the ultimate multitaskers. They help with toothaches, digestive issues, you name it.
Yeah, it's a really good example of how connected everything is in TCM. Something as simple as a toothache could actually be coming from an imbalance further down the meridian line. It's not just about treating the symptom, you have to find the root cause.
That makes sense. Now, we can't talk about this meridian without visiting its superstar LI4, or Hegu. It's nestled nicely between your thumb and index finger. This one's like a household name in acupuncture.
Oh, absolutely. It's famous for being a strong pain reliever, but what's really cool is its connection to releasing something called exterior wind. Imagine being caught in a draft and feeling that chill that's exterior wind invading your body, and it often brings those classic cold symptoms with it.
Wait, so that wind concept, is it kind of like our modern understanding of the immune system being weak?
Exactly. Think of it like this. LI4 helps strengthen your defenses, like closing the window before that draft can get to you.
It's a great example of how ancient wisdom lines up with what we understand about the body today.
I'm telling you, TCM is full of these aha moments. Moving up the arm, we hit LI5. It's strategically placed right at the wrist. This point seems really relevant to everyone living in our crazy, fast-paced world, don't you think?
Absolutely. LI5, also known as Yangxi, is a big one for relieving tension in the wrist, and that can be the physical kind, like from typing all day, or the emotional kind, like anxiety.
Hold on, are you saying my emotional state is linked to a point on my wrist? Okay, now you've got me really curious. Remember when we talked about that heat buildup? Well, TCM sees pent-up emotions as a form of heat, too. So when you're super anxious, that energy gets stuck and creates tension. LI5 swoops in to clear that blockage and bring things back into balance.
Mind blown. I'm definitely paying more attention to that point now. And right near LI5, we have LI6. This one seems to be all about keeping things moving, especially in the face.
That's it. This point, known as Pianli, is often used for things like facial paralysis or swelling, even those phantom ringing sensations, tinnitus. LI6 can help restore that balance and get that qi flowing freely again.
Balance and flow, got it. So from a stiff neck to those racing thoughts, this meridian is a real overachiever. What's next on our journey up the arm?
Well, let's talk about LI7. This point's interesting because it's like a security guard against sudden wind invasions. Remember those chills we talked about?
Okay.
LI7 helps build up your defenses.
Oh, so like a first line of defense against those pesky cold viruses? I can get behind that. And as we move on, we come across LI8 and LI9. These two seem to be all about keeping things moving, especially in the digestive system.
They are. It shows the interconnectedness again, how systems that seem totally separate are actually working together.
It's all connected. And up next, we have LI10. It's known as the tennis elbow point.
You got it. LI10, or Shousanli, is known for helping with pain and weakness in the arm. It's a really popular point for people dealing with tennis elbow or any arm pain, really, especially from doing the same movements over and over.
So if you've got that ache in your arm from a long day of typing, LI10 might be your new best friend.
Just might be.
Now, let's not forget about LI11 or Quchi. It's conveniently located right in the crook of your elbow. This one seems pretty relevant, especially with the weather getting colder and drier.
You're right. LI11 is amazing at clearing heat, especially the kind that causes skin conditions like eczema. You know that itchy, dry feeling that so many people have, especially this time of year?
The worst.
Yeah.
So LI11 swoops in to cool things down and give some relief.
That's it. It helps clear that excess heat and restore balance to the skin.
I have a feeling we'll be talking a lot more about LI11 as we get deeper into fall.
I think you're right.
As we head up from the elbow, we hit LI12 and 13, both hanging out on the upper arm. What can we expect from these points? What kind of relief are we talking about here?
Well, remember how we were talking about clearing heat and releasing tension? LI12 and 13 kind of keep that going, but this time it's focused on the upper arm. Think about those aches that just don't quit, the stiffness, maybe even some tingling or numbness after a long day.
Oh, I know that feeling, especially after a long day of writing. And speaking of tension, LI14, just a bit further up, seems to have a surprising connection to our eyes.
Eyes.
It does. LI14, or Binao as it's known in traditional Chinese medicine, is a perfect example of how connected everything in the body really is. Even though it's on the arm, stimulating this point can actually be really good for the eyes.
It's like a secret passageway to relieving eye strain. And then we come to another VIP point on this meridian LI15 or Jianyu. It's right at the shoulder. I've heard this one can be a lifesaver for shoulder problems.
That's right. LI15 is often used to deal with all kinds of shoulder issues. Everything from your everyday pain and stiffness to bigger problems like frozen shoulder.
I know a few people who would love to know about this point. And rounding out this upper arm section, we've got LI16 or Jugu, which sounds like another one that helps keep those shoulders happy.
For sure. LI16 and LI15 are often used together to really work on those deep shoulder tensions and get things moving more smoothly. It's really interesting how these points work as a team for a more complete approach.
Teamwork makes the dream work, as they say, even in TCM. But here's the thing, everyone. The large intestine meridian takes a wild turn here. It leaves the arm completely and heads straight for the face. I have to admit, I was surprised when I saw that in the research you sent.
I know, it's not what you'd expect, but it does make a lot of sense if you think about how the meridian releases heat and toxins. The face has all those openings, right? So it's like a pressure valve for all that extra energy.
That makes a lot of sense. So LI17 and 18 are our first stops on the face. They're both hanging out around the throat. So I'm thinking they must be all about, well, throat stuff.
Exactly. LI17 is great for a sore throat or if you're having a hard time swallowing. LI18 is right by the thyroid gland and can be really helpful if you're dealing with hoarseness or even thyroid issues.
You know, I never really thought about the connection between these acupuncture points and a gland like the thyroid. That's pretty amazing.
It is. It just shows you how interconnected all the systems in the body are.
Absolutely. All right, up next is LI19, or Zhouliao. It's looking right under the nose. Given its location, I'm guessing this one has something to do with the sinuses.
You got it. If your sinuses are acting up, you've got a stubborn cold, or you've even lost your sense of smell, LI19 is the point you want to focus on, especially today, October 18th, since all those seasonal sniffles are starting to make their rounds.
You said it. And finally, we've reached the very last stop on our meridian journey, LI20, or Yingxiang. It's nestled in right next to the nostrils. This is like the grand finale of the large intestine meridian, wouldn't you say?
It really is, and it goes out with a bang because LI20 is fantastic for relieving nasal congestion. Whether it's allergies, a cold, or just that stuffy feeling, this point is like hitting the reset button on your breathing.
So from the tip of the index finger all the way to the side of the nose, we've traveled the entire large intestine meridian and seen just how incredible its impact on the body really is.
Quite a journey, isn't it?